Anyway, hi Facebook. Sorry, I don't, technology is outside of my realm. Anyway, Facebook meet Instagram, Instagram meet Facebook. We're talking about the EQ method that I've done on these pork bellies. We've gone 10 days. I've got one ready to rock. See the liquid draining off that? Totally fine. Do not ever drain the liquid off your EQ method. It contains your cure. Anyway, sorry to backtrack there for the Instagram followers, but so I'm going to pull this one out, and I use a vacuum sealer. You can use a Ziploc bag. You can use a non. Do not brine them in one of these. These are reactive. Use plastic or glass. You do not want aluminum, metal, anything like that when you're doing your EQ cure. So when I had it in here, I would flip them every day and massage them just to make sure that that cure was getting around. And that liquid that forms on the bottom, never drain it. You know, when you get it out and about, and then you can kind of just massage it around, and that gets that cure into your belly. Another thing, you can see that this is obviously the fat side, and this is the meat side. So meat side, fat side. When you're applying your cure and your seasonings, you always want to do it on the meat side. 90% of your cure / seasoning goes on the meat side. You never want to apply all of it to the white / fat side. So I always put it on the meat side. That's where you're going to get the most penetration from your cure. That's where you're going to get the most penetration from your seasonings. A simple bacon is pepper, salt, cure number 1, sugar. Okay, I posted a calculator to our page. The cure is the most important thing that you need to be mindful of. It's 0.25%. So these two bellies here were approximately 4,700 grams. And the amount of cure that it took, cure number 1, prog powder, for these two is 12 grams, which is about the size of a dime. I use this scale. I use a scale. You know, I put a little cup on there, and I use tare weight to get down to, I put the cup on there, zero it out, and then 12 grams. It does not seem like a lot. But nitrite is the only USDA acceptable cure formula, not nitrate, which is cure number 2, nitrite, which is cure number 1, or prog powder, for pork. They do not allow nitrate. So if you're going to do your own bacon, do your research. Prog powder, you can find it on Amazon. It's like $30. I think I got a jug down here somewhere. I don't know where it is. Anyway, be sure you're using the right amount. Otherwise, you're really risking safety for your friends and family. Anyway, meanwhile, back on the ranch, we have this belly. I just pulled out of the EQ cure. Threw it in here just temporarily. Now I got the second one. I'm going to pull it out of the food saver bag just to show you guys kind of a little bit of the liquid that comes out of there. See how it's kind of draining? That's fine. Liquid does not harm your pork belly. That liquid contains all the dissolved cure that you put into your pork. So now what I'm doing is I'm prepping it for cold smoking. I'm going to cold smoke these bellies overnight, because I think in the next 3 to 4 days, the overnight temps here where I live are south of 70 degrees. So cold smoking, you never want your ambient temperature, your environmental temperature, to get over 90 degrees. That is an environment that will induce botulism, trichinosis, all sorts of spores that may have entered in here that the cure didn't get to. So I'm going to cold smoke overnight. So I'm basically going to set my cold smoker in my regular electric smoker overnight. And it's going to happen overnight. Then I'm going to pull them out and hang them so that they mellow. So here's what I mean by cold smoking. This is an amaze tray full of ground up cherry pellets. So these are normal pellets that you would put in like a Traeger or any other type of pellet smoker. So what I did was with these pellets, it kind of looked like gerbil food or hamster food or whatever. So you can kind of see those pellets right there. Kind of look like rabbit turds, right? So they're essentially compressed sawdust. So to get the sawdust back out of it, to deconstruct them, I soaked them in water. Then I put them in a tray into the oven at 200 degrees. And they basically balloon out and then deconstruct into sawdust, which turned out into about this. So this is cherry sawdust that I put into an amaze tray, and you can see that it's got, you know, kind of like a labyrinth in there. So I'll light it from this end and it'll smoke up, down, and up. So this is going to take 12 hours. So this will go 12 hours. So starting tomorrow night, I'm going to do a cold smoke. What I'm doing tonight is I'm forming the pellicle. If you remember from our salmon, where I put the fan on them and got that nice glossy layer to them, that's essentially what we want to do with these bellies. Now, there's a number of ways to accomplish this. And the reason why I'm down in the man cave doing this is because I don't know if my wife would appreciate if I had these things hanging in the fridge with baby food, all that other stuff. So here's a couple of options that I'm going to give you guys. Two are favorable. The one I'm using is because I live in the Twin Cities in Minnesota, and I have a really cool basement and good relative humidity. So I'm going to show the Instagram people what I got cooking here. So if you look at, this is a relative humidity meter. I'm currently at 50% with 64 degrees Fahrenheit. Just, that's ambient temperature right here in the man cave, which is highly acceptable for forming a pellicle. What I also have is a Yeti cooler with some blocks in it and some cookie cooling racks in there. So currently my Yeti cooler is sitting at 30 degrees. That alarm is for the salmon, but currently my Yeti cooler is at 30 degrees. So what I can do is I can either leave a half latch lid on already a lockdown Yeti cooler and place those bellies on those racks, or what I'm going to do, because I have really good humidity and temp down here, I'm going to hang them from these meat hooks from a wire just in my basement with the Tupperware to catch any droplets. So I'm going to flip this around, take a little drink of whiskey here real quick, and then show the Facebook crowd what I'm talking about. So, to the Facebook crowd, what I've got rolling is, see, I'm not really good at this. So I've got my relative humidity meter at 50% with a 64 degree ambient temperature in the man cave. Okay, so I'm currently rolling in here at 64 degrees 50% humidity. Inside a Yeti cooler, I have 30 degrees Fahrenheit with cookie sheets on the bottom. I'm just going to hang it in my environment with a Tupperware tub to catch anything that would fall out. So, what you want to do, or what I'm going to do, sorry guys, I'm really bad at that stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to hang them from hooks. I'm going to hang them from hooks in here because I've got really good humidity and I've got really good temperature. The pellicle, that glossy finish, is going to be great on these down here, hanging open air environment. These hooks were like $12 on Amazon. You can go to sausagemaker.com and get them too. A lot of guys are really, they're like engineers. A lot of guys make them themselves. I really don't. I'd rather just pay the $12. But, so I'm going to hang these for 24 hours. And I like to go through the fat side so that those hooks don't really pull down on the meat. So I'm going to go on the fat side with the hook. I'm just going to hang it right over the bucket. I'm going to do it to the next one. Perfect. And hopefully my my string holds. So I'll give you guys a quick view of what it's going to look like. So what this looks like, so I have a fan going right now, and it's blowing air over those pork bellies that are sitting underneath that. Okay? So that air movement is really going to show form a pellicle on these pork bellies. And then I'm going to use my amazing tube with these ground up apple pellets, and I'm going to cold smoke them overnight for 3 sessions. 3. Alright, I'm going to flip this around and do the same thing for our friends on Facebook. But anyway, so that's it's pretty simple. The EQ method is extremely foolproof when it comes to making bacon. So if you guys ever want to get involved in making bacon, for our Facebook friends, they're hanging on this string here with a fan blowing on them, and we're going to get a nice pellicle, which is kind of like a sugary, glossy finish to it. And then I'm going to do a cold smoke with that amazing tube on them, and I'm going to do 3 8-hour sessions. So starting tomorrow, so these are going to hang for 24 hours. So right now it's 7:45 Central Standard Time. They're going to hang here tomorrow till about 7, 8 o'clock. And then I'm going to use the same hooks. I'm just going to hang them in my smoker tomorrow, and I'm going to apply this cold smoke. I'm not going to set any temperature. This is just going to burn and just create smoke. And what I'll do, that will smoke all the way overnight. This tube will last me 12 hours. So from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., because it's cooler outside, which will help me, I'm going to cold smoke this bacon. Then I'm going to put it into the Yeti for 12 hours. Then I'm going to put it back out in the smoker and repeat that total of 3 times. So I'll get 3 8 to 12 hour smoke sessions on it. Then I'm going to put it in my freezer for about a half hour. Now I'm going to run it through the slicer, taste test a couple of them to make sure that it's the good smoke flavor that I like, and the salt is good and everything's good. And then I'll slice it up and bag it, and I'll do another show with that probably Thursday. So I hope you guys learned something tonight about smoking. I'll post all this again to our page. so everybody gets, a narrative about what the process is, but and safety. So just wanted to give you guys a quick 20-minute deal of what I got going on here at the grind, and hope everybody's having a good summer so far. Everybody have a good night. Thanks.